says nothing's broken, nothing's gone. Everything changes and moves along while the whole world spins like it's losing control. She keeps one calm orbit around your soul. She's a little hippie in a hard time world.
Hey girl, how are ya? Good. Sorry about Maggie. Oh gosh, no worries. How are you doing?
I'm good.
She's already steeped. Welcome back to Steeped in Portland. This is episode 4, and today we get to speak with Carina Eugenio. Carina Eugenio was the second contributor to the pilot event that really was the start of this entire series. And she was our wonderful pastry chef, as well as media artist, viola player, marathon running, extravagant
Fantasy football enthusiast.
My goodness, you've got a lot of hobbies, but really appreciate you joining us last September and making the contributions that you did for that event. You didn't exactly know what it was going to pan into. Were you expecting all of this?
This? I guess.
I guess no expectations help.
Yes. But I'm here, you're here, everybody's here. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we've even got Maggie
We got
sleeping with us
Maggie.
today. Carina, for our viewers, can you share a little bit more about what you brought to that event as a pastry artisan?
Yeah, the story goes back quite a bit to when I used to have a dinner club with my friends over in Copenhagen. Fortunately, of course, COVID happened. We all shifted our dinner club online, and we would choose kind of Iron Chef style, choose an ingredient, kind of go at it, or have opportunities to have dinner together. And so it was kind of funny, one of my friends was saying, oh, we should make sourdough bread because everybody's doing that right now. They're all kind of thinking about it, yeah, we should do it.
That really was a big thing.
It was a big thing. Ironically, when my friend Mila was like, you idiots, I've been doing this for the past 5 years, whatever, made a 5-part YouTube video for us, and there we went. It was really cool. A lot of the bakeries in Copenhagen were selling their flours. So I was walking home with, 10 kilos of flour, things like that. Just trying to find ways, like a lot of other businesses and a lot of other people try to make their way and do their hustle to get through COVID. Yeah. And so from there, my sourdough, I have to give her credit. Her name's Beatrice because she is benevolent. I stopped writing it, but I even have her birth dates on all her stuff. But
oh, wow.
I dried her out, put a little bit of her in all of our suitcases when we moved here, and had to learn what the flours were in the States because I never baked when we lived here, and I learned everything while I was over there. I had to learn what all-purpose flour was, what bread flour was. I had to figure out how much protein was in each thing.
Okay.
It was a huge learning curve.
And benevolent Beatrice is not actually the flour, it's the person that introduced you.
No, it's the name of my sourdough.
Oh my word. All right, so benevolent Beatrice.
Actually, it was a year ago, I met Chris, who did the tea pouring and tea educator. I met him at a going away party of a mutual friend. I had some Santa Lucia rolls or something like that made, kind of mentioned to him, oh, if you're ever doing a tea pouring, I can bring a cake. Very casually said it as I was on my way out. And then he texted me maybe, I don't know, a couple weeks later. He's like, hey, you want to do an event with me? I was like, okay, I'm just a home cook. It's like, yeah, let's do something. And so it's been a really fun way to practice my skills in kind of an up and ante way versus just calling my friends and neighbors and saying, I have a loaf of bread on the patio. Who wants it? Come and get it. So it's been a really cool way to kind of practice consistency, play with flavors, kind of bring my own background growing up as a Filipino kid in Minnesota, how that transferred over to Copenhagen, finding those ingredients there. And now that we're here in Portland, trying to source rye flour, rye kernels, and trying to figure out flour in general. And so it's been a really fun, frustrating at times, but fun way of figuring out how to replicate a lot of those recipes here. So whether it's a layered mousse cake or rye bread for my kids' lunches, or sourdough, or
Goodness.
list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did benevolent Beatrice make it into...
Oh, she's here.
She's
She's alive. She has a little heated home that keeps her warm in the winter and cool in the summer, so I can cook. I was inspired by my partner's grandfather because he's a flour apprentice in Germany, and he would write all these notes about the flour and the hydration and the quality and all of these different things. And I joke that I have, I don't know, I think I'm maybe close to 600 loaves in right now. And I'm not counting like the rye bread. I'm not counting wienerbrød, the Danishes and things like that, and all the pastries and all the buns and things like that. I'm not counting those, but I've been writing little chicken scratch notes about all the flours, which is kind of a cool way to think about how the flour and the development of me learning the differences in flour, because I started the notebooks in Copenhagen. And then you can see all my frustration in the notes trying to figure out things. And then there's lots of smiley faces, lots of frown faces. So the notes are sometimes quick and dirty, but they're there.
If they make sense to you, it's like a organized chaos.
Organized chaos that my kid will get to inherit when I die, that she won't be able to understand anything. But maybe, I don't know, maybe she'll find out too.
On the note of upbringing, what part of your culture or upbringing shows up in your work today?
The intro you said about me was kind of interesting because everything is so multi-layered, whether it's the practice of running or the practice of teaching or running events for the community or embroidering. They've all kind of finessed its way together in terms of my culture. And so specifically with the baking, it's been really fun to experience maybe how do I take the flavors of adobo and put it into something that's more classically European or Danish. Or even the last event, for years I was thinking, wouldn't it be really cool to experience kimchi on rye bread? Why not? Let's do it. And so, just kind of taking something from here, putting it over here, testing it out, see how experience will shift things. And so same thing with art. I always think about my practice in art is it's mostly been based historically with abstraction that was inspired by the human figure. It's kind of morphed itself of abstraction, of abstraction, of abstraction. So it's a play on memory, it's a play on where I am, it's a play on what materials I can get a hold of, trying to figure out how to establish myself and my practices wherever I am in my life, in the world. Yeah, they kind of coalesce with time and space altogether.
Wonderful. I think I recall a story that you told me once where you actually introduced some Filipino flavors to the Danish markets. Is that correct, or does memory serve?
Oh, yeah. A few friends of mine from our Pinoys group. So back up, Pinoys is a part of an art collective, contemporary art collective.
This one?
Yeah, I was a part of in Copenhagen, and some of them were launching business of importing moringa or malunggay into the Danish market.
So I helped them. Malunggay?
It's like one of those hot superfoods. Apparently, I think it has, I can't remember the statistics off the top of my head, but I remember it's like really high in calcium and fiber and iron. And
could we make it into a tea one of these
days? Something. Yeah, so they made it, they had teas available, and I helped them develop, I was really into making my own snacks for running, so we made chocolate date balls and added some of it in. After I had my kid and she started eating solids, we'd even add some to some of her breakfasts, things like that. But it was really interesting because when I was a kid, I had only known malunggay from a soup called tinola. So I was like, oh, it's just the green leaves you sprinkle at the top. I didn't know the impact that it could have in other areas. So
other food groups, the mixing and matching. It sounds like you're a mad scientist / tinkerer.
You were going to say tinkler?
No, I was like borderline tinkling and tinkling and tinkering. Yes, it sounds like you've been tinkering with a lot of different recipes along your journey. And where did you start, grow up, and then before you went to Copenhagen, and then when you came to Portland?
So I grew up in a small, I shouldn't say small. It's not a small suburb, first-ring suburb of Minneapolis. Okay. And so grew up with the Filipino community over there, and Ironically, I was a really picky eater. Some words I cannot even utter, like ketchup. It makes me kind of shiver a little bit. I've worked through a lot of things.
The ketchup.
Yeah, everybody that comes through my house knows that that's like a banned food. You will, like, it's not allowed
No
here.
nightshade, not that nightshade.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm fine with tomatoes now. But as a kid, I was so picky that I only ate Filipino food. And so it was funny because my parents were like, whatever, you can be picky as long as you eat adobo and tinola.
Makes it easier to...
Whatever is totally fine. So I would eat leftovers from the night before for breakfast the next day and then not eat anything at school. Not very sustainable, but then the moment I got home, eat again. It wasn't until I left home, like most people, that I actually had to start cooking for myself and had to actually think about what was going into my body, especially with running, strength training, and being, a university student. It's also really expensive to eat. So trying to figure out how to make things stretch longer and trying to figure out how to get myself to eat more vegetables. It's been interesting. I didn't eat my first spaghetti, I think, with red sauce. I was I was 21. Ironically, when in Copenhagen, that was my first spaghetti.
Was it okay?
Yeah, it was fine. Ironically, it was my partner.
Your partner's spaghetti. Classic.
Yeah. So it was funny. A lot of firsts were that year. I studied abroad out there. A lot of firsts. My first burger, my first sandwiches, first. Yeah, it was a lot of opening my palate. So it's been kind of fun to come back to some of those flavors and play with them now and see how things have changed, because as adults, we all change. Even as kids, we all shift and we all change and
The
learn
great
things
experiment of life.
Yep.
I'm told you're supposed to retry foods that you disliked every 7-ish years. Don't know if that's an exact science because they're just natural shifts as we move along. And it sounds like you had quite a few, moves from Minnesota to Copenhagen, then Copenhagen out to Portland.
Yeah, so not very many moves, but significant moves.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And then, also during pretty uncertain times like the pandemic, how do you make decisions when things feel uncertain?
I think a lot of what I think about, and of course, I'm a parent, I cannot deny that. Of course, I have to be a responsible person. You should make considerations for your whole family. But a lot of the decisions that I have made have been to show my kid that I do exist. I exist for more than just you. I love you. But life is so rich and so complex that multiple identities can exist. And to have one costume, have one mask on, that doesn't serve a person justice. So a lot of the difficult decisions that I've made have aligned with how does it serve my family? How does it serve my kid? Are we happy? Are we safe? But then after I figure out all that important, responsible stuff, then I kind of sneak in. I'm like, well, what if I add in that race? Or can I run that distance? Or can I start this art collective?
That's where you start inserting community and hobbies afterwards.
Yeah.
More organized than chaotic, I feel like.
I try not to be too calculated because I feel like if you're overly calculated, it doesn't allow you to look around you and see what opportunities can pop up as well. So for instance, this Pinoys group that I was a part of, I was taking a Tagalog language class as an attempt. Oftentimes in Scandinavian, Nordic countries, Denmark for example, especially larger cities like Copenhagen, a lot of people say it's hard to meet people, join a club, take a class. And so I was like, okay, I'll take a Tagalog class, let's see what happens.
So this started as a Tagalog class?
Not quite. So I was taking the class and a couple of the people I met through there were saying, oh, you should come for brunch. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll come for brunch. It was like ladies, Filipina, Copenhagen brunch, whatever. And a couple of the members of this group, so this group already existed before me, and a couple of them were hearing my background as an artist, visual artist, an art educator. Before we moved, my partner and I and 5 of my colleagues from my art education, we formed a collective ourselves and we sold art at a gallery, we taught community classes, and we also had studio space. And so when I was kind of telling them about this experience, and that's what I was doing last before we came here. It was funny, as the longer I was talking and explaining things, I couldn't tell if I was digging the hole deeper, but at the same time I could see their eyes getting bigger and bigger. It's like, okay, I should keep talking. They basically invited me to join their collective. So Pinoys play on Pinoy, Pinay.
The Filipinos.
I feel weird explaining this
It's
to you.
okay. You know, some our viewers don't know.
It's a name, I guess you'd call it, or like...
It's, like a colloquially used
There
term.
you
Can we
go.
tap in our chief of staff?
Pinoys.
Pinoy?
Pinoy.
Yeah, it's like the slang term reference.
For a Filipino calls oneself.
Yes.
Yeah. So
P for...
P noise
homophone.
is to create the noise. And so it was funny you mentioned tinikling before, because the basis of the group was to kind of reach beyond tinikling and reach beyond the traditional folk arts and music and things like that. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that,
Right.
but again, complexities of
There's
people
more.
and artists and Filipinos in general, there's so much more to offer. And so they asked me to join as a part of heading their visual arts sector. So visual artists, photographers, musicians, dance, film, seeing the Philippines in more contemporary light. And so this festival in particular in 2015, I think it was a week or 5 days of film at a local theater in Copenhagen. And we paired it up with some drag artists, some contemporary artists. And so we would pair it with different artists who were doing their thing. And each night of the film festival would focus on a different theme, would focus on a different film. And it culminated on a weekend at the end where we had a live painter. So a lot of the art we have in our house is actually from exchanges from others. So I would oftentimes give my piece and then exchange it for other artworks and things like that through time and space. But that was actually one of the artists, Ray Cruz, that
Ray Cruz?
yeah, we brought him in from Manila to do live street art. And then
And was it
live performances.
street art, just painting? What was his medium?
He was doing painting particularly at that point. And we brought in, oh my gosh, there were dancers, there were choreographers. Yeah, just a lot of different
Pinoys making
noise.
Making noise.
Making noise, yeah. And it's been a really cool exchange because I wasn't a part of these projects, but also taking some Nordic artists and bringing them to the Philippines to do tours and art tours around the metropolitan and other things like that. So it's been a really cool experience to kind of say in my body, I don't know a lot, I'm willing to learn, let's see what we can do. So pretty humbling also.
Well, I actually really loved that because I've been wanting to ask, coming from the States, which I feel like has always historically been very competitive, we're the best at this, we're the biggest at this, etc., and having your experience in Copenhagen and what you just described with Pinoys, what happens when people support each other instead of compete?
That's a funny question. It reminds me of a story of when so before living there, I studied abroad there and I had a host family. And I remember getting a really good score on one of my papers. And I, 21-year-old, as if I'm, 15 years old or whatever, I go up to my host mom and I'm like, look at this paper, I got such a good grade, blah, blah, blah. Looking for that validation of not just you did good or you did a good job, but that validation of, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. It was interesting because she looked at it and she just like, yeah, well, okay. It was interesting at the moment because I was really taken aback, I was hurt. But it's interesting looking at it now because she knew that I did work hard and she knew the effort that I put into this. So now I understand that the reaction she gave to me was like, yeah, that's what you did deserve. I'm not gonna act above and beyond it, but like I'm proud of you, but like, of course that's what you should have done. So it's interesting to put it into those perspectives. It wasn't competitive because I feel like it was that competitive nature of trying to get that validation coming from the American mindset. And so when you look at yourself and you know what you know and you know where your strengths are and you're comfortable with that, it's easy to take a step back and say, well, I don't know this and I'm willing to learn. You take away that pride in yourself. And I feel like it opens you up so that you can learn more and you can experience more versus just saying, well, I'm not good at that, so whatever. Or just handing it off to somebody else. It allows for more collaboration versus just like, well, that's your job, but let's keep it separate. But it allows for more growth for the whole.
For the whole.
Am I making any
Yes,
sense?
yes. I've really been enjoying certain shifts in my own business to move from a competitive mindset to more collaboration, and I think it's really overall healthier. I don't know if I can find anyone in this room that would disagree.
Well,
but
maybe that Maggie disagreed.
Maggie
definitely
disagrees. She's
got up.
Competitive napper. She's like, nope, I can no longer nap here. With all of your hobbies, education, work professionally, or more on a collaborative volunteer basis, what took longer than you expected but was worth it in the end?
Bringing it back to community. Community has always kind of been the thread. So with my family in Minnesota, for example, kind of that thread of community, and then acknowledging that when my parents came to the States, they had to create their own community. So being aware of that when I moved to Copenhagen and missing that thread and making the commitment of finding community. And of course it can't happen overnight. So having the patience to kind of take a breath, put yourself out there, and knowing that if it doesn't stick, it's okay. And maybe that's just not the time, and who knows, it might lead to other opportunities. And I feel like the same thing happened over here because we had such a quick move. It was one of those things where it was like, oh my gosh, I need community. That's what I need to survive, because that's how I survived over there. That's how I survived during that move. And that's how my parents survived.
And that's how we met.
Yeah.
Really, you just kept showing up for community.
Kept showing up. Kept pushing the bread.
Rolled right in.
Which is funny, because now I'm also thinking about gluten-free events as well, because I'm like, I have to be inclusive of everybody.
Yes. Actually, I think I have a couple people that would absolutely love to attend one of your gluten-free events.
Yeah. For sure.
How much time does it take you to really prep for an event like the Electric Gigi Mixer where we met, or because I feel like that was really fast-tracked, but on a normal event, say with Chris?
Yeah, I feel like the people that I've created events with more recently, I can just I know their strengths, I know my strengths. There's a quickness in the communication level. I feel like we already have
Workflow?
a workflow, a language, like a shortcut. So we kind of have the check-ins. And of course, we still check in person, but like easy check-ins, we kind of know the spaces that we can work well in, and kind of looking out for each other, and easy to shift. And it's also kind of like, go with the flow, things happen.
So you could probably just do it at the drop of the hat now. You guys, so
Well,
many
with the
reps in.
sourdough, I need at least 48 hours notice. But
you could pull one right quick. It sounds like 48 hours is still fast to slap a whole event together, but I wouldn't put it past both of you.
That's pushing a little bit, but yeah.
No worries. Through art, creation, and you have a background in education,
Mm-hmm.
what does the unglamorous part of your work look like?
It was funny because I was actually thinking about that question earlier. And I was like, well, honestly, drawing lines all day. Embroidery is really, I'm also a mixed media artist, and so embroidering lines can get really tedious. And sometimes it gets to a point where I know it's just work. You could do it with your eyes closed. And I've had a lot of people approach me and like, why don't you just use a machine? Why don't you just use or even a sewing machine? And there's something about the tactile quality of hands. The tension's not right. It just doesn't look right.
Translate.
Yeah.
as well.
So I'd rather spend, I don't even, days, hours, months, whatever, stitching those little lines for the product, because it feels human. It feels real. It doesn't feel like AI just created it.
For that particular, for your embroidery, do you display those anywhere or have plans for those pieces of art?
I'm actually hoping to incorporate some of the embroidery pieces into my book project that I'm working on as well.
Ooh.
It's been kind of an interesting project because, as I said before, I'm mostly abstract, mixed media person. And so when I started this project, coming into it thinking, okay, now I have to put on a new hat, or not just put on a new hat, I have to crochet a new hat to put on before I can call myself an illustrator. But as I was doing that, I was like, oh, but this is my project. Why does it have to be this thing? So I'm trying to figure out how to, instead of thinking about it in terms of layers coalescing with each other versus separate pieces. So I'm trying to figure out how to add in some of those more abstract pieces into my book.
Okay. Could you tell us more about your book? What is it about? When did it start?
We found out we were moving winter or fall of 2021. And as kind of a holiday present for my family, I was thinking I'm going to make some sketches of some of our important places in Copenhagen and in Denmark in general. And so,
are you illustrating these, writing?
Yeah, some of these, I actually have them right here. Some of them are illustrated. And so, so whether it's like my kid taking a nap on the harbor, or a mural I made for her room, the view outside of our apartment, looking on rush hour traffic. So I just like little things. She asked for these cupcakes. She wanted sourdough cupcakes. So I made sourdough chocolate cupcakes for her.
Was that another appearance of benevolent Bernice?
Yeah. And so I brought this to a friend of mine in Copenhagen, and I was just like, yeah, I would like to share what I made for my partner and her kid. And they were like, you should really consider making this into a project. I was like, oh, I don't know. That's not really my thing. And then I kind of,
is it your thing now?
Digested it and thought about it. Literally a couple days later, I called that friend back and I was just like, I'll do it if you come on this journey with me. So they agreed. And so we've been doing, I'm kind of heading the project, but it's been nice to have an extra ear, also a Danish ear, because a lot of this will be also bilingual, so in English and in Danish. Taking fragments of spaces or experiences or memories and putting them into kind of a compendium of what we've experienced so far, especially because my kid, she did not speak English as her first language. So it's been really interesting coming here and witnessing that experience through her eyes. It's been really interesting. And not just language, but also to see how her social skills, even as a child, are, not to say one's better or one's worse, but just different than an American kid. And because we didn't come during COVID, so she had been, because we would visit the States at least once or twice a year, but up to that point, like we've just been in Denmark. And so it was really interesting to see a lot of the different things through her eyes. One funny example is that we were driving, and of course my partner and I were both American, so it was really easy. We didn't really think about the experience of just kind of clicking back in. My kid didn't know I could drive because I hadn't been driving for 10 years. I've only been biking and taking the bus and walking, blah, blah, blah. She's never seen me drive. And so the first time I drove, I put her in the seat and she kind of looks at me and she's like, I think you're gonna do a really good job. You're gonna do great. She's like, I'm gonna be really quiet, but I think you're doing such a fantastic job. And I was like, okay, cool.
What a supportive kid.
Supportive, yeah, it was really funny. It was just funny the whole drive. She's like, you did great on that turn. So it's funny because even before I started writing scenes for the book, I have pages of just random notes, or even when she started learning English and how she was forming words and how things were mixing up. Or there's so many videos of when she was first starting to speak, how she would say a word, and both my partner and I were just like, we have no idea what you're saying, kid. I'm so sorry.
Dutchish or
Danish?
Well, was it
Danglish, I think they technically
I know,
call it.
what do we blend in those languages?
Yeah, and so it was really funny because there's so many videos of her just going, it's okay. I don't need to explain this. So yeah, it was interesting because I didn't even remember I spoke English with her. Threw her English out the window, quite literally, because there's some videos of me speaking English with her, because at the moment I was like, who else is she going to get English from right now? But she was refusing and she was speaking back in Danish. And then COVID hit, and then I was like, okay, I guess we're just going to go all in on this. So we weren't really concerned about that experience, but it was really funny because the first trip I went back to Minnesota, my parents speak English, but they also speak Tagalog at home.
Oh.
And so it was funny because when we came back, I was like, am I sick? I don't feel sick, but I'm just my throat feels really sore. And I was like, oh, it's because I was literally translating the Tagalog, thinking about it in English because I've never translated Tagalog into Danish. So like translating in my head and then saying it to my kid, listening to her say it back and passing through
registers.
Yeah, thank goodness that she figured it out. The first 8 months we lived here, though, she was very insistent that the children and her teachers, everybody around her would just learn Danish. So she was very she couldn't be bothered to pick up another language. But yeah, then she kind of, so it's funny, I remember we found a preschool for her to go at, and it was just funny because I remember coming in and all of the kids, she was just speaking to them in Danish, and one kid was shoveling in the corner, another kid was sweeping, and she was just telling kids what to do, and we're just, okay, I guess that's,
She
I guess
knows
that
her
works.
direction.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's a lot of scenes from moments that held a lot of meaning woven into your book.
Yeah, for sure. So the idea of the book kind of runs along the lines of that, and that the beginning will be our experience in Copenhagen, becoming parents, learning to be parents there, because it's a very different experience than here. The middle will be our moving day, and then the latter half will be experiences here, and trying to figure out, not necessarily becoming a parent again, but figuring out how to find a doctor. Because I became an adult there, and I never had to think about insurance or even taking my kid to the doctor. It was all kind of
brand
set.
new.
And so all of a sudden, not just becoming an adult again in the US, but adult again with a kid. So a lot of things I was just like, oh, I have to figure this out now. Oh my God. It was very overwhelming. And then on top of it, COVID. So.
And then weaving yourself into community, still showing up, not just for your family, yourself, and the community.
Yeah.
Actually, on the topic of community and your art, can you tell me a little bit about the collective that you're working on here with another member of the community?
Yeah, her name's Lena Denson. We met through a trail run through a group that specifically focused on getting women of color, femme people of color into the outdoors and creating those experiences and safe spaces. And so Lena and I, we connected. We did one of those, hey, you do art, I do art too, let's go have coffee. And it was a really fun meeting. She's also Filipino, so it's interesting to hear about her experience growing up in Colorado, coming out here, and just the flow of different communities, but all finding that thread of looking for community.
You might have to take me running out next.
So a couple years down the road, I was saying that I was gonna have a meeting with the owners over at Atelier Yafe, a cafe over on MLK, about doing some sort of art monthly, I don't know, quarterly experiment, something, just an open meeting. And Lena was so funny and came up to me and was like, can I come? Yeah, you can come. I don't know, we'll just have an open conversation. And so talking about it more, we landed on the same page about a lot of subjects: community building, accessibility, experience level. That shouldn't matter either in terms of being an artist or having the experience of creating, of mark making. That shouldn't be just for people who went to school for it or who are good at it. Of course, that's great, but that's not the only reason to have that experience.
And so the importance of keeping art accessible.
It's another way to connect. It's another way to process your thoughts. It's another way to take yourself out of your thoughts and be free. You can adjust it with whatever goal that you have in mind, and sometimes it can lead you to somewhere else you're not expecting. So I think that's what's really exciting. I always explain it when we had our place in St. Paul. I remember, because we were teaching art classes there, a lot of people off the street would come in and say, oh, I'm not good at art, or I wasn't good at it. And it's funny because the teacher and me took it kind
personally?
of, not personally, but kind of took it in. And I was like, I put them on the spot. Someone's, so how's your calculus? You pretty good at that? And they'd be like, oh no, of course I'm not. I didn't take that for years. And I'd say, well, it's kind of a similar idea that if you don't practice this muscle, if you don't practice this skill, of course you're going to become rusty, and it's going to become really scary to come back at it for a while. Even if you have an injury, if you rolled your ankle, yeah, it might be scary to step on it again and try out the trails. It might be scary if you get hit by a car. It might be scary to hop on your saddle again, you know? So if you take yourself out of practice, you almost remove yourself even more, especially as an adult. And so we thought about this idea of, Lena already had the name of it, Low Stakes. And I was like, let's make it an art collective. So it's like community and bringing it in. And it was funny because when we hosted our event the other day, a lot of people came with that same mentality of, I don't know what to do. I feel like it's supposed to be so precious. And I was like, remember, low stakes.
It's in the name.
What's in the name? One person I was talking to, he was a photographer, and he was like, yeah, all morning I was trying to think about what to draw or what to do, and putting so much preciousness on it. And that's not to say that that's not important, because it can be, and that's okay, but that's not the point of this situation. It's to find community, find space, try something new, and experiment, explore with other people.
All
whatever
levels
experience that you want to have.
Engagement.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is this collective located?
So we're going to be located at 2 different locations. Daydream over on Southeast Clinton, and then the alternating month will be at Atelier Yaffe on MLK. So every other month, we're going to be swapping, going back and forth to each location. And so that space is really cool because we felt like it was more conducive to instruction. Not necessarily that we're doing like a sip and paint situation, but we'll be bringing in either materials or techniques or an idea, giving some light instruction, and then you can kind of go with it from that. Or honestly, if you just want to come and hang out and knit for 3 hours and do your own thing, you still know that's an accountable space to come, meet people, meet friends, meet new people.
Work on your own project.
Work on your own project.
Awesome.
And so Daydream on Southeast Clinton, that will be more conducive to just the free flow hangout. And we'll have materials, people bring their own stuff. We had people working on beading for a handbag, somebody working on the glaze for their teapot. A writer came in to do some writing and then decided to shift and draw strawberries. Like it's very,
The world's
what
your
you need
oyster
to
in
be.
those
Yeah,
spaces.
what you need it to be.
Awesome. Wrapping things up, I have a question from someone that attended the Electric Gigi.
Okay.
They want to know, when did you fall in love with Portland and why?
I think, and ironically, it kind of lends itself also to the book of this idea of home. Also, I forgot to mention, the book can also be read front ways and back ways because they're fragments. So because the thread is home, is community, portions can be taken out or read however you feel like you want to experience it. And so I feel that that's kind of been the approach for me, learning how to love Portland, in that you see where you are, you see the opportunities that exist, and you make the most of it.
Wonderful. It sounds like you're helping others make the most of it as well by the Low Stakes Art Collective.
I hope so. It's just getting started, but I think there's a lot of low stakes potential.
Hey. We'll let it steep and see where you land in a year. I'm sure it'll be great. And I know I'll be showing up to those places because I need I need to take a little bit of the pressure off.
Take the pressure off.
Yeah. It sounds like a really
Have
relaxing,
a beverage or a
therapeutic.
or some snacks.
Yeah. My last question for you today is, what is something that you would like to ask someone in the room that attended the Electric Gigi and got to enjoy your craft?
What brought them here to Portland? I feel like there's a lot of people who have decided, especially, I feel like a lot of people I met moved here during COVID. So what brought you here, or the people who are from here, what got them to stay? Or if they've left, what brought them back?
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, I'll definitely be sure to ask that of the next guest on Steeped in Portland. Final shout out to Christopher Lum. Thank you for this wonderful connection. And where can our guests find you?
I have a website, CarinaEugenio.com. And you can also find me at the Low Stakes Instagram handle, lowstakes.co. And hopefully more flyers for our tea and pastry events. We usually have random floating flyers that are taped up over at Fly Awake over in Northeast Portland. but they seem to be filling up really quickly.
I know, it was kind of competitive to get into the last one, so I got bumped to this next one upcoming.
So I feel like the sides go up and then they come down immediately, but I guess that's a good problem, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Thank you, Carina, so much for
Of course.
joining us last minute.
I'm glad Maggie could join us
Yes,
too.
when she felt like it. And thank you for doing this with us, joining us for the podcast portion. Your contribution means a lot.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, absolutely. Sounds like something you've been, a constant theme that's been rolling over into many more things. The tea is spilling into all of the wonderful places. This has been Steeped in Portland, where stories steep into the fabric of place. The flavors are always evolving, but the community remains. Come steep with us. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.